Hey guys, I decided to do my first story time, and sorry, of course I get text messages while I'm trying to do it. But my first story time, and I was trying to decide what I wanted my first story time to be about because I do have some really deep and more intense stories that I want to tell, just about my childhood and growing up and whatnot. But I decided to make this story time not as deep. This story time is going to be titled How I Was Played by a Fuckboy. That shit happened in real life. So, let's get started, shall we? So, I met this guy. He had been trying to talk to me off and on for like a year. And we met online, whatever. But he had been trying to talk to me for off and on for like a year. And I just kind of kept brushing him off, like I wasn't interested in him at the time. So he caught me at a very, very vulnerable time in life. I had just gone through so much. I had to get another apartment and a car within the same month. And I was just really mentally drained. Moving is hectic, especially when you have to do so in like 2 weeks. So that was my life at the time that I actually gave him a chance. And the reason I gave him a chance is because he used to send me a message every morning and tell me, I just wanted to say good morning and that I think you're beautiful. Nothing else. No intense conversation. He would just tell me every morning that he felt like I was, he needed to tell me good morning and tell me that I was beautiful. I appreciated it because at that time But yeah, so I was just like, at the time I needed it. I had just cut all my hair off. So I was a lot different. I felt a lot different. Like I've always had straight hair. And I've always had like at least, to here. Like the shortest my hair had ever been was maybe like right here. So, to me, I felt really vulnerable. I was really unsure of how, it was going to come across to me. And I knew I liked it, but didn't know if anybody else was going to like it. And it was such an accident, which I'm going to make another story time about when I cut all my hair off on accident. But, yeah, so, he asked me one day if I was single. And I was like, yeah, I am. And, he was like, wow, I thought that you were in a relationship because your Facebook page says in a relationship. So he was like, that's why I've never said anything other than good morning and I think you're beautiful, like, because I didn't want to overstep my boundaries. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I left my relationship status up there from when I was in a relationship about 3 years ago. Because, when you change your relationship status, if you put single from in a relationship to single, people are always like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, what happened? Just too much. Too much. And I didn't want to deal with all those questions. So I just left it as in a relationship. And so I told him, I was like, yeah, no, I'm single. I just left that up there. And so he was like, oh, okay. He was like, I really would like to get to know you better, take you on a date, blase, blase. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I think we can, make that happen. So then he was like, well, my car is in the shop right now. He was like, so as soon as I get my car out of the shop, I would like to take you on a date. I was like, okay, fine. I'm not like a woman that thinks that I'm too good for a man that really is struggling or having a hard time. But they kind of disguise. Some men are fuckboys in disguise. They use the fact that they just having a rough patch in life when really they know that the reason that they don't have anything is because they don't have any motivation to want anything. So I was like, that's fine. So, we talked a little bit longer, maybe like a month longer. And, he was like, I really want to see you. So I was sitting at home doing nothing. Like I finish work at midnight normally, sometimes before, just depending on what time I started. I work from home. So, and my kids for the summer have really been gone. They're like, with you, we have to sit in the house all day because you have to work. So we rather go to other people's houses that don't work Like my son went to his grandparents' house and they're retired. My daughter went to my aunt's house and she's retired. So, she really was like, they really were like, we want to be gone. We don't want to sit in the house all day with you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Give me a break sometime this summer too. So they were gone and I was just sitting here bored like I am now. Pretty much I was just sitting here bored on a Friday night. And so, he kept saying he wanted to see me. So I was like, you know what? You can come over. You can come by and we can, kind of just have a face-to-face talk and, cook some dinner because I love to cook and I'm pretty good at it. So I was like, I can cook you something to eat and we can just sit down and have a face-to-face talk. He was like, that's cool. I'll be over there. So he comes. We sit down and watch TV. After I cook dinner, we sit down and watch TV and, eat. Not a Netflix and chill. We just watch TV and ate. So then we started opening up about, previous relationships, childhood, our past, things like that. And he said that, he had been in some relationship and he just got taken advantage of. He was like, I had a good job and the lady I was with got me fired because she kept coming up to my job clowning. He was like, I got arrested and just, a lot of stuff going on. So I was like, I can completely understand that because some women will do that. So I was like, I can completely understand that. He was like, he paid all her bills and she never wanted his son to come over, or she copped the attitude whenever his son would come. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I don't believe in it and I don't do that. I was like, I don't like women who do that either. If you're with a man in a relationship and you have kids that he's stepping up to the plate, taking care of because y'all are living in a house together, you should look at his kid as your kid too. Like, there should never be a difference, if you ask me. I know it happens because people are like, oh, that's his kid by such and such. And kids are kids. They don't ask to be in crazy situations. If his baby mama is crazy, which I hate that freaking term, but if she, causes his life drama and stress, still when the baby comes over, that's a whole different story. You shouldn't take that on the baby. So, I opened up and told him about my last relationship that I was in, where I had to call the police to have the man removed because he had jumped on me one night and busted my knee open and like choked me. That's another story too. But, I told him about that relationship and I was like, he really told me that he used certain situations to play on my emotions. Like, he asked me why I liked him. And I was like, you seem like a pretty down-to-earth person. You're cute, which I'm shallow sometimes, I will say that. So I was like, you took interest in my daughter's, she wants to be a model and she has the structure. She's really, really slim. She's like, she walks like she could be a model. So, I was like, you took an interest in that and you stepped up like you were filling in for her father when we went to an audition. So I was like, he said, after I said that, he was like, that's what I wanted to hear. That, you like me because I like your kids. He was like, some women don't worry about if the man likes their kids or not. But, when I put it together later, after we had been together for a minute, I put together that he used that to play on the fact that, getting into my kids' life would open my heart and my feelings up for you. And that's what happened. So, like an idiot, I'm telling him this because he's sharing about his past relationship. So I'm like, I feel, open enough to tell him about that. I shouldn't have, because he used that to his advantage. He knew that I had been through a lot in life. My mom had drug problems when I was a little girl, so I was raised by my aunt and uncle. But I didn't belong to them. So, they raised me to the best of their abilities. My uncle spoiled me completely rotten, but at the end of the day, they both had kids. My aunt had one kid, my uncle had two. and I wasn't one of them. So, you know, sometimes I just didn't get treated like I belonged there. And so he knew that I had just been through a lot with that. And so, you know, he's like, oh, I would never do, like, some of the stuff I was telling him I've been through. He was like, oh, I would never do that to you. I would never hurt you. He was like, if we get in a relationship, I would never hurt you. I would never do anything like that you've been through. You know, I just want to be loved by somebody. So he was looking for love too, so I thought. So we get into a relationship, and we're together and kicking it for a little while, and he asked me to invest some money in him. And I was like, I can't. I don't. Right now, my finances are really in the red because moving and getting a car in the same month, transferring utilities. I was like, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot that I have to, you know, do. You know, you have to put a deposit down, first month's rent when you move in somewhere. So that ended up being almost $900. I had to put $1,000 down payment on my car. So it was just a lot that I was going through as far as my finances were concerned. So he knew my pay dates because he knows a lot of people that work for the same company that I do, and we get paid on the same day. So he knows my pay dates. So I had some money in my purse, and he came over. He told me he had just got out of jail, like he had a warrant for something old, and him and some girl that should have been a flag got into an argument, and she called the police on him, and he ended up going to jail for the warrant he had out. Now, he wanted me to invest in a drug transaction. Like, he was a drug dealer, and you know, when they re-up, they have to present a certain amount of money. So that's what he wanted me to invest in. Red flag number 2, I don't date drug dealers. Like, he told me that he worked for his grandfather's lawn service. Like, his grandfather had a lawn service and he worked for it. So I'm so unaware of the fact that he's really a drug dealer until he says, you know, you should invest because, you know, you can double your money. And so I'm just like, I don't trust that any way, shape, form, or fashion. Sorry, my son stopped me, so I forgot exactly what I was saying. But yeah, so he came over, and I had just gotten paid like the day before, the day that he claimed that he was in jail. And so when he came over, you know, he was still asking me, you know, did I want to invest? He really needed it because he had to bond himself out, so he spent his re-up money. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot help that. I can't help you with that. And you know, my guard was still up with him anyway because I've been through so much. So my guard was up. So it wasn't up far enough, obviously. I think I went to go put clothes in the dryer. My washing machine is in my kitchen, but my dryer is outside. So I think I ran to go put clothes in the dryer or something where I left him in my room alone. And so, sorry y'all, my nose is itching like crazy. But yeah, I left him in my room alone. And, you know, I came back in and everything was fine. Well, he was like, okay, my cousin is coming to pick me up. Somebody was coming to pick him up. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, are you coming back later? He's like, yeah, I'm coming back later. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So he leaves, and I'm going throughout my day. Started working, everything. So I'm going throughout my day. But later in the evening, me and my son were going to get something to eat. My kids love to eat out, even though I'm a bomb cook and I cook often. My kids are like, oh, I don't have a taste for that, or I'm not in the mood for that. Can we go to Burger King? It drives me insane. But I remember I was the same way as a kid, so I can't get too upset. And when I went to get the money, luckily when we got to Burger King, I think we went to Burger King, maybe barbecue, I don't remember. But I went to get the money out of my purse to pay for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was thinking, well, maybe I dropped it because my purse is pretty much empty. Like, I don't really carry a purse now that these cell phone cases have a slot for you to put like your cards and your ID and your money. I don't really carry a purse anymore. But I had a couple of things in it. But I was like, well, maybe I swung the purse, or I think my son actually brought me my purse. So I was like, he probably dropped my money out. So I just use my card and pay, and I get back home and I go to look for the money. Lo and behold, I can't find it anywhere. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I had got the money out to pay some bills. I had got the money off my card, my Rush card. Yes, I'm doing Rush card because the bank was just too much of a headache with me. So, I just went ahead and took the money out to pay a couple of bills, and I couldn't find it. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? Crap, like going crazy. Something told me to just ask him if he saw my money while he was here. And at first he never responded to my text messages, and I was like, that's letting me know that you saw, you got my money or something, you put it somewhere. So then he finally responds and he says, I'm gonna pay you right back, and I'm actually gonna pay you for more than what you gave me or what I got from you. And I'm like, squiz me? You just stole from me, pretty much. Sorry, I gotta take a drink. My mouth is dry. Disregard my paper bag because it's Friday night and I'm bored and don't have a life. So, I got me a little drink. That's good. But I was like so devastated because I'm like, I would have never expected a person to come in my house and steal from me. Like, I just wouldn't expect that. So, we talk about it, and I'm already ready to cut him off at this point. I'm like, you live a lifestyle that I'm not accustomed to and I don't want to deal with. You don't have a car. You don't have a job. So I'm just like, and he had no ambition to really have a job. He says he did, but I don't believe he did. So the only reason that I haven't just blocked him altogether and told him to kiss my black ass is because I was trying to get my money back. I was hoping that I could get my money back. So we kind of talk off and on. I'm like sending him messages like a crazy person, like an obsessed woman. I'm sending him like 20 messages, 30 messages a day, and he might respond to 2. Like, it was crazy. So, I'm like ready to cut him off. Like, seriously, I'm so disgusted with him, but I gotta act like I'm not because I'm trying to get my money. So he would promise me on like a everyday basis, oh, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to be at your house to give you your money, and never show up. It might be like 10 o'clock in the morning and he's like, oh, I'm about to pull up at your house and bring you your money. And then it's 6 o'clock in the evening and I'm texting him like, why do you play so many games? Like, why would you have me sitting around waiting all day? And it's always like, so his whole demeanor has changed now. The sweet guy that I met in the beginning, and that was sweet for probably about 5 or 6 months, has now completely turned disrespectful. So I'm sending him messages. I'm like, you told me you were coming over. You told me I was going to get my money back, and you didn't show up. And I don't understand what's wrong with you. Like, dude, I deserve to have my money back. And he's like, I told you when I'm coming. Damn, shut the fuck up. What? I don't get talked to like that. I don't deal with stuff like that. So I'm still like hanging in there, acting like I want to be with him because I'm trying to get my money. So he one day comes over. He needed somewhere to sleep. He needed somewhere to spend the night. So he came over and he bought me $80 on my money back. You still over $200 that you owe me. So I'm like, can I get my money back by a certain day? Because I'm about to set up, since you messed up my money, I'm about to set up some bill pays. So he was like, I promise that you gonna have your money back like it was like tomorrow, the next day. I promise you're gonna have your money back tomorrow. I'm not playing. God won't let me not give you your money back. So I'm gonna give you your money back tomorrow. I'm really sorry this happened. I'm sorry that I did this to you, but I was just in a bind because I needed to re-up, and I didn't have the money after bailing myself out. So, I just kind of did what I had to do. So I'm like, okay. So I set up bill payments for my bills. All of them returned because I was expecting to have my money back. And he was telling me, oh, I'm going to give you, I think he took like $300 from me. So he's like, I'm going to give you $700. So I'm setting up bill payments or whatever. And the $300 would have been fine. Like I mean, just the rest of my money that he owed me would have been fine. It was like $220. I was like, I don't care about extra. I'm not trying to be in the drug game. I just want what you owe me back. My money that you owe me. That's it. So none of my bill payments went through because he was lying and playing games. He played so many games. And I'm like, I've been in a relationship with a 21-year-old. I've been in a relationship with a 25-year-old. It's just even the guy that I talk to now is 25. So I've been in a relationship with a lot of young guys. And he's 27. I'm 31. He's 27. You would think that he was 3 with the amount of games that he plays. I don't understand it at all, but that's that fuckboy mentality. Because I was like, if you don't plan on giving me my money back, just say that. Don't keep saying, oh, I'm pulling up. I'm going to bring you your money tomorrow. I promise. I swear. God won't let me not bring you your money because my conscience is bad. I mean, it's all kind of stuff. And I'm like, you don't have to do all of that. Like, if you ain't going to bring me my money, just say it. I said, why you got to play so many games? Like, you promise that you're bringing me my money. You tell me you're pulling up. You tell me you're down the street. And then you never make it. I don't get it. The very last time that me and him saw or spoke to each other, he came over and spent the night. Well, nope, didn't spend the night. He came over and his apology was in the form of oral sex. That was what he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm sitting there like just listening to what he's saying, but I'm watching TV too. And, I have on a dress because I just got out the shower before he got here. And he knows that when I go to bed, I don't wear underwear. So I had a little dress on or whatever. And I'm watching TV, halfway paying attention to what he's saying. And, he gets on the floor and he does what he does. Well, needless to say, some other things happen. Because to me, oral sex is just foreplay. So some other things happen. And, that was that. Well, he was supposed to spend the night because he said, oh, I get money tomorrow from a crackhead or whatever. He was like, they get their check tomorrow and I have their card. So I'm going to get my money tomorrow and I'm going to give you your money. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you spend the night and I can take you to the bank tomorrow to get my money. Well, I'm in the bathroom and I hear him say, come pick me up on blah, blah road, the road I live off of. And I was like, so you leaving now? He was like, oh no, I'm coming right back. I'm just about to go get the money because it's after 12, it's after midnight. So the money was loaded to the people's account. So I'm just about to go get the money and then I'm going to come back. He was like, because I'm so tired. I'm sleepy. You don't understand. I want to lay down and rest. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm not stupid, though. So I'm like, you ain't coming back. I was like, I don't know why you lying. You about to leave and you ain't coming back. So he's like, yeah, I'm coming back. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Now, mind you, I know that he's had the money to give me back probably about 4 or 5 times at least within the time period that he was supposed to give it back. So I was like, you just kind of made a decision that because I have a job, I didn't need my money back. I was like, and that's so untrue. Like, I told you when we first started talking that I was financially kind of messed up at the time. And I have a really bad chronic pain condition where sometimes I can't work my whole 8 hours, or sometimes I can't work at all that day, just depending on how bad I'm in pain. I have chronic back pain from a car accident 12 years ago. And I also have a migraine condition called pseudotumor cerebri. So, especially like if I have a migraine, my vision is blurry. I don't want any lights around me. And I'm always like super nauseous. So, because I have FML, I'm entitled to take the time off of work if I can't work. But I don't get paid. So in the time that it was like over a month that we were, he kept telling me I was going to get my money back and this, that, and the third. So over that span of a month, I think I brought in maybe like $300 on one check and like $500 on the other check. So that's $800 for a whole month that I got paid. So, I was just like really, really in a bind. And so I'm like telling him I need my money back. He's like telling me I got you over and over again. I had a doctor's appointment. I needed my copay because I needed to get my kidneys checked because I've been having a lot of problems with my kidneys. I had been having a lot of problems with my kidneys at the time. And I was like, if you can't do it, if you can't bring me my money for me to go to the doctor, say that. That's all I'm asking. Say that you're not going to do it so that I can find it a different way. He was like, oh, no, I got you. I'll be there. Don't worry about it. So, of course, he didn't come through, and I had to call around to everybody I knew to ask them, could I borrow money from them, which I hated. So, yeah, he left that night. And I texted him and was like, I knew you weren't coming back. And he's like, oh, you shut the fuck up. You crazy. You always saying stupid shit. I'm coming back. I'm going to the bank or whatever. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So maybe like 2 hours later, because I would, like a fool, actually believe that he might possibly come back. And, I had my house locked up. So I'm like, I'll stay awake because if he does come back, I'm not gonna know to open the door. So I stayed awake another 2 hours, like I didn't have work the next morning. Whatever. So the next morning I texted him and I was like, you play so many games and you lie so fucking much and I don't get it. I was like, it's not really anything I can do about you not giving me my money back other than go file a report that you stole my money. That's it. I mean, I can't make you give it back. I'm not in the streets. I can't pull up on you and, make you give me my money back. I'm not that type of person. So I was like, instead of just telling me that you didn't plan on giving me my money back, you continue to dangle this carrot in front of my face to get what you wanted out of me, which was, a rumble in the sheets. So I had texted him the next day, or was still that following day. I was texting him and I was just like, saying everything I felt like I needed to say. Just like, I can't believe you did this to me. I would never do anything like this to you. You asked me if you could move into my house. You asked me if you could drive my car. I was like, obviously, all you wanted from me was to use me, like point blank, period. So I was just pouring out my emotions and my feelings at the time. And he never would respond, never would answer the phone when I called, nothing. So then I texted him and asked him something. He was like, damn, I said I'm coming over to bring you your money. Shut the fuck up. So I was like, are you coming or no? Time had passed by and he hadn't, call, answer the phone for me, reply to any of my text messages. So I'm like, are you coming or not? I was like, because if you're not, I need to be making other plans. He didn't say anything, of course, not answering my text messages fuckboy top priorities is to, dip and dodge when they know they're doing wrong. So I told him, you know what, that's fine. You don't have to come to my house anymore. I was like, I'm moving on. Somebody else is taking your place. So don't show up at my house tonight. I don't want nothing else to do with you. Lose my phone number. And he responds and says, that's good for you and him. Okay, cool. Now, I really didn't have anybody coming over to my house at that time. I was just, out of anger saying it. I was trying to say things that would, get to him, because he would always tell me, like, I don't care if you talk to somebody else, but you can't have sex with anybody else. Like, your body is my property. You can't have sex with anybody else. And I wouldn't do that anyway, just because I don't roll like that. But to me, we were done. Our relationship was over. So I was like, just trying to say stuff that was going to get to him. And I was like, it's men offering to take care of me and my kids where I don't have to struggle like this. So I don't know why you would think I would still be in a relationship with you. And he's like, well, fine, But the night before, because I had told him this earlier, so the night before when he came over, he was just like, why would you say something like that to me? Were you trying to hurt me? You broke my heart. I love you, and you just gonna tell me that you moving on to another man because they gonna take care of you, and that's fine if you want to do that, but just do it. Why you gotta tell me about it to hurt me and break my heart? And I was eating that shit up like a big ass dummy. Seriously. So he was like, stop texting me. He was like, it's over. I don't want nothing to do with you. Stop texting me. And I'm like, fuck you mean? So I was like, that's fine. I was like, but you still owe me money. It's mine, and I deserve to have it. I was like, my car insurance is due, and I don't have the money for it because I just pay my rent. I was like, my car insurance is due. My car dealership or loan company, don't play that. If you don't have insurance, they will come and repo the car even if you made your payments. My payments are made. So I'm not trying to have my car repossessed over this, BS. He didn't care. Like, he didn't care about when I said my light bill was due, my internet, my water, stuff about to get cut off. I could possibly be evicted because my rent was late. Like, he didn't care about any of that. And like an idiot, like I said, there was a purpose for me holding on and working through it, was because I was hopeful that I could get my money back. But I just kept talking to him after he had, done that stuff to me. I kept talking to him, and I felt like an idiot. I felt so stupid. Every time he would leave my house, I felt like an idiot. I did, because I was like,